In the late 90s, Cannabis was one of the hottest up-and-coming rappers in the game, next to Big Pun, Nori, and DMX. But an ill-fated beef with LL Cool J stemming from their collaboration led to one of the quickest falls of grace ever seen by a rapper. By the early 2000s, Cannabis had resigned himself to sticking with his independent, lyrical lane. MC Lyte has one of the greatest and most iconic voices in hip-hop history. Kicking down the door to the rap game at the tender age of 16, the East Flatbush MC had something to say as soon as she picked up the mic, dropping "I Crammed to Understand You," which was one of the first rap songs about the crack era. Lyte says she wrote the record when she was only 12 years old. By 2010, Rick Ross the rapper had completed his transformation into the full-blown Rick Ross, the drug kingpin turned mogul who was bulletproof from any sort of criticism or truth-telling. An all-out war with the king of rap beefs, 50 Cent, failed to take him out or even slow him down. Billboard and sales numbers will tell you that Gucci Mane never reached the commercial heights or crossover appeal for his peers Young Jeezy and T.I. He's never had a #1 album, and he's only got a few gold plaques, compared to Jeezy's 3 #1 albums and Tip's 5 platinum plaques. But the thing is, hip-hop history will tell you that Gucci's influence has been so much more impactful than those two. Treach is the very definition of a rapper. Revered by Eminem and a friend of Tupac's, Treach may not get the accolades he deserves these days. But back in the day, he was the motherfucking man, launching into superstardom off the strength of global smashes. Naughty by Nature perfected the art of balancing big radio hits with grimy album cuts. They reached a new level with Hip Hop Hooray, one of the greatest hip-hop singles of all time. It almost feels blasphemous to have the lead rapper of one of the greatest hip-hop groups of all time this low on the list. But hey, rap music is competitive. What can I say? Electric Relaxation is Tip at his best, conversational and down-to-earth, with a bouncy flow. It's everything that made us fall in love with Tribe's music in the first place. While Cam's off-stage persona can sometimes overshadow his music, make no mistake that he's one of the most slept lyricists in the game. His ability to stack internal rhymes on top of each other is up there with Cool G rap, and I really mean, just exemplifies that with a powerful Just Blaze beat. Here's a crazy rap fact: when Sosa stepped up to the mic to rap on Nas's Life's a Bitch, that was the first time he recorded a verse in his life. That was one hell of a recording debut. After setting off a bidding war following his appearance on Omatic, there hasn't been a higher peak for a rapper than 50 Cent in 2003, actually, probably Eminem in 2002. For an artist who made it clear from the very beginning that he was all about his business, 50 has an undeniable level of artistry to his music. One of the best songwriters ever in hip-hop. Everything 50 touched from 2002 to 2003 was gold, and Many Men is just one of many examples. For 50 to turn a traumatic event like his attempted murder into a catchy yet somber piece of music, Pharoah manages to twist words to do things that very few other rappers could ever hope to achieve in their lifetime. With Simon Says, he managed to fuse all that lyrical ability with a dope-ass banging beat and a catchy hook to create a classic hit record. Rap fans have a notorious short-term memory. Before Pac and Big, before M and 50, before Wayne and Drake, Snoop Dogg was the biggest and most popular rapper in the world. Even before his debut album dropped in 1993, he was one of the best rappers alive when he stole every single appearance he made on the Chronic release the year prior. Lauryn Hill is on this list based off of 2 albums. 2 albums, and she cemented herself as one of the greatest rappers to ever do it. She is the only other rapper who's managed to do the same as Biggie Smalls. Doo Wop is an example of Lauryn's triple threat rap skills and impeccable flow, thought-provoking content, and a perfect hook. What Drake has done over the past decade has simply never been done before in hip-hop history, reigning at the top for 10 years straight without any breaks. Sure, there have been rappers who have been successful for longer, like Jay-Z, but he reigned from 98 to 03 before retiring for a couple of years. There have also been rappers who have had higher commercial peaks, 50 Cent and Eminem, but they were on top for a few years max. The self-proclaimed world's hardest MC of the legendary Lox crew has always worn his heart on his sleeve, never scared to show that tough street rappers could shed a tear as well. Featured on A Gangster and a Gentleman. One of the greatest tragedies in rap history was the world not being able to witness Big L mature and evolve in his songwriting craft. Hip-hop fans get obsessed with Big L's freestyles, understandably because they're incredible, but they forget that he was a really talented writer, and Ebonics is the perfect showcase of his creativity and writing prowess. Royce has always been super nice on the mic, and one of the few rappers in history to be able to keep up with Eminem bar for bar on a consistent basis. But it's been over the past decade, since he sobered, that we've seen an incredible resurgence in his songwriting and album-making abilities. Royce is putting out some of the best work he's ever done in the later stages of his career. Missy Elliott is simply one of the greatest, most creative, most iconic hip-hop artists of all time. Actually, scratch that. Not just in hip-hop, but in all over music. While her musical output has slowed down in recent years, Missy has dropped enough classic material to cement her as a legend forever. Get Your Freak On, it's just one of the many examples that showcase Missy's undeniable chemistry with Timbaland. The mid-2000s was a great moment for Atlanta hip-hop. It was the emergence of the South as the new top rap region, with rappers like Young Jeezy, Wayne, Gucci Mane all clamoring for the throne. Everybody knew who had the crown. Not only is this T.I.'s best song, it's a motherfucking coronation of the now king of the South, and it solidified his position as one of the best rappers of all time. Mos Def is a deep, poetic lyricist blessed with one of the nimblest flows in hip-hop. Despite an erratic output of albums, Mos Def has always pushed to expand his artistry beyond beats and rhymes. His sophomore album, The New Danger, incorporated jazz grooves, rock influences and blues-inspired jam sessions, and though it was hailed as a sprawling mess, it showed the Brooklyn rapper had guts and vision. Big Pun was just an incredible lyricist with an insane ability to put words together. It's simply a delight to listen to him rhyme. But it wasn't just his lyrical skills. Pun's debut, Capital Punishment, broke down walls, being the first album by a Latino rapper to go platinum. While the album was super tough with street songs front to back, the late rapper still managed to put out a hit song that didn't sound like he was reaching. Killer Mike had a great low-key recording career before Run the Jewels. He amassed a respectable catalog and had worked with the likes of Outkast, 3 6 Mafia, and T.I., but after linking up with LP and lending his voice for the post-apocalyptic funk, his name shot up to a new level. Killer Mike is angry but informative, fuming with rage, but also with clarity in his words. Raekwon the Chef has always been on a different level of storytelling compared to other rappers. Unlike the richly textured characters of Slick Rick's life lessons or the vivid clarity of Big's high stories, Raekwon's mafioso crime tales were more abstract, murky, and had a tinge of surrealism to it. A few years later, we've got an East Coast-bred MC rapping over some of the greatest West Coast beats of all time, and completely destroying them. Stranded on Death Row to Ain't No Fun, Kurupt was the premier West Coast rapper who could hold it down against traditionalist New York spitters. Busta Rhymes' longevity and consistency in the rap game is beyond incredible. Making his debut in '91 as part of the leaders of the new school, Busta recently dropped his 10th album Extinction Level Event to the Wrath of God, to critical acclaim and decent chart success. Busta Rhymes' hot beat, a crazy flow, and unstoppable energy. Just on his technique and flow alone, Busta Rhymes is certainly one of the best rappers of all time. The love for the Lox and Jadakiss, in particular following their legendary versus against Dipset, is well deserved, and long overdue if you ask me. Jada has always been one of the dopest rappers, full of quotable 16 seconds and classic punchlines, but he was always overshadowed by larger-than-life. Jada had the whole Madison Square Garden reciting every bar word for word, and in that moment, he was the king of New York. On his second album, The Cool, he took the elements that work so well on Food and Liquor and doubled down on them. The result is an album where Fiasco operating at a higher level in every way, with the bars, the songwriting, the cohesiveness. Hip-Hop Saved My Life is unique in that it's an ode to a culture that he holds dear to his heart, but also a warning lesson to up-and-coming rappers. its superb storytelling and lyricism from one of the best to ever do it. Redman has gone on to build a solid career out of hardcore, in-your-face rhymes, a wicked sense of humor, and his love for weed. Even though he stands as a golden age icon, Redman remains young at heart and appears to have no problem blending in with succeeding waves of musicians. Whether it's a guest spot on a Christina Aguilera track or exchanging rhymes with Ghostface and Raekwon, Redman is the GOAT rapper when it comes to aggressive flows and funky rhymes. Rough Riders Anthem is by far the biggest and most iconic DMX song. It's one of the greatest hip-hop singles of all time. But Get At Me Dog is where it all begins. Back in '97 and '98, when Puffy had everything on lock, DMX was a lone stick-up kid smashing into the rap game. Accompanied by a gritty hook by Sheek Louch, DMX's Get At Me Dog took hip-hop back to the streets, seemingly overnight. With his aggressive bars paired with hard but catchy production, the Yonkers rapper became a rare hip-hop phenomenon. What Slick Rick lacks in output relative to the other rappers on this list, he makes up for being a top 5 most influential hip-hop artist of all time. Countless rappers over the decades have been inspired and shouted Slick Rick's storytelling abilities and fashion sense. From Nas to Snoop, Pharrell to Kanye West, French Montana to West Side Gun, his legendary status is forever. One of the worst things a hip-hop fan can do is sleep on Big Boy in favor of Enter 3000. I can see why it happens though. Andre is just on a different level to any other artist, from his look to his ideas to his voice to his rhymes. 3 Stacks is a one-of-a-kind in this rap shit. But that's why it was so important to have Big Boy as the other half of Outkast. UGK couldn't have come up with a better title than Underground Kings for their 2007 album. With over 15 years in the game, it wasn't until their 5th album that the Texan duo scored their first #1, and a big part of it has to do with the immaculate International Players Anthem. While Bun's best verse might be featured on the brilliant Murder, this is his best song. While Stacks get most of the attention understandably for the way he floats over the Willie Hutch sample, Prodigy was lyrically gifted as Nas, charismatic as Jay-Z, memorable as Ghost. He more than held his own during the 90s as one of the best rappers to come out of New York, thanks to his menacing, deliberate, and ice-cold voice. Common is the creator of some of the most poignant songs in rap history. He transformed hip-hop into a woman on I Used to Love Her, thoughtfully spoke about an abortion on Retrospect for Life, and crafted the best female tribute track ever with the Dilla Helm the Light. Common has shown other rappers how to age gracefully in a culture that seems to throw away its elders. There isn't a rapper on this list or in history who has been able to stick to such a niche rapping topic for as long and as masterful as Pusha T. From 2002's Lord Willin' to 2022, It's Almost Dry. That's 20 years straight of dope rhymes and street on every single verse he's ever rapped. While Pusha has crafted undeniable classics with his brother over the Neptune's Hollow Thumps, it's with Kanye West where the Virginia MC met his production soulmate. Numbers on the board. Is peak Pusha T. It's the perfect production, the perfect title, the perfect lyrics, the perfect flow. Legend has it when the late great Big Pun met Cool G Rap, he knelt down and kissed the ring of the Corona Queen's legend. It's not hard to see why a rapper like Pun, or Nas, or Jay-Z would all go on to be influenced by G-Rap and shout him out in their songs. Not only did G-Rap's ability to stack internal rhyme inspire a generation of artists like Nas and Jay-Z, his uncompromising lyricism and gritty street tales planted the seeds for classic 90s rap. The most important reason for LL Cool J to be on everyone's GOAT list is his longevity. We have a rapper who debuted in 1985 with searing b-boy rhymes over Rick Rubin's crunching beats, and has gone to adapt and reinvent him not once, but several times over the course of his career. If you sat down and listed all of LL's achievements over his 30-plus year career, there would be no doubt that he's one of the best rappers of all time. From 2007 to about 2012 or 2013, Kanye was consistently in the discussion for Best Rapper Alive every year. While he had already showcased his level of production skills and artistry before 2007, it was really with Can't Tell Me Nothing that rap fans were looking at him like, oh, he can rap. Compared to the rest of his catalog, Can't Tell Me Nothing and Kanye's most lyrical song, that honor would go to Gorgeous, and he has had way bigger songs, Gold Digger and Stronger. But there's just something about the way he raps. If we're just talking about pure skills, flow, wordplay, voice, rhyming abilities, Method Man is top 5, dead or alive. With that chameleon flow, butter voice, smooth but rugged rapping style, undeniable wordplay, Meth could go bar for bar with your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. Whether it was Big or Pac, Redman or Busta, it didn't matter. There's no rapper with quite the presence of Method Man. Only 10 years removed from his debut album, and Kendrick Lamar is widely regarded as not only the best rapper of his generation, but one of the greatest rappers of all time. The fact that he's this high up compared to rap veterans who have been around for 20 to 30 years only speaks to his greatness. This isn't recency bias talking. In fact, I had to put Kendrick lower than I wanted to, because I didn't want to be swayed by his latest work. Like the great orators in history like Malcolm X, Winston Churchill, Martin Luther King, Chuck D's voice and words have an empowering effect. When he speaks, people listen. There are some incredible voices out there like Method Man's delightful husk, but none of them have quite the same authority behind them like Chuck D's. Then when you pair his voice and lyrics with the Bomb Squad's thunderous funk, it was a match made in heaven. And no other song demonstrated that better than Rebel Without a Pause. Next to Rakim, Slick Rick, and Kool G Rap, there hasn't been another rapper who has had a bigger impact on lyricism and molding the art of rapping into what it is today. Braggadocio rhymes, battle raps, and vicious punchlines were Kane's bread and butter, and even 30 years removed from its release. Long live, the Kane is still a lyrical masterpiece and a standard that rappers should aspire to reach. Kane has the verbal dexterity and penmanship to show down with the best of them. MF Doom is simply the greatest underground rapper of all time. Not only has he inspired and influenced a whole generation of artists with his sound and aesthetics, from Radiohead's Thom Yorke to Tyler, the Creator, to West Side Gun, Doom's lyrical abilities puts him at the top with some of the best to ever touch a mic. With an abstract, stream of consciousness style that Ghostface Killah inspired, Doom went on to drop classic album after classic album with his low-key, rugged monotone. No other rapper has ever had quite a run like Lil Wayne did during that 2005 to 2008 period. It was like the perfect narrative. In 2005, he drops the Carter 2, takes the Best Rapper Alive title, then goes on a devastating mixtape and guest appearance run that backs up his claim. Then the Carter 3 drops in 2008 and cements his status, not only as the best rapper alive, but as the biggest rap superstar in the world. Mind Playing Tricks on Me wasn't just the biggest rap song of 1991, it was the best rap song of 1991. How often does that happen? The epitome of a crime-hardened, street commentator, Scarface raps as if the whole weight of the world is bearing down heavily on his shoulders. His mastery of poetic rhymes, soft-spoken delivery, fluctuating flow, and weary voice sound as if he's seen too much in his lifetime. The fact that Black Thought has been getting his flowers these recent years, after 20+ years of being one of the most consistent and slept-on rappers in the game, makes me happy. The Roots MC is from the Big Daddy Kane and Kool G Rap school of rhyming, where the only outcome you should expect is the microphone smoking after you're done with it. That's why Thought at Work is the ultimate Black Thought song. Chris's catalog is one of the best ever in hip-hop. Between his solo and boogie down productions, the Blastmaster probably has more classics in his discography than 99% of the rappers out there. While 9 Goes Bang along with Ice-T's 6 in the Morning became the defining points of gangsta rap, socially conscious rhymes and positive thinking were the hallmarks of the Blastmaster's teachings. Blessed with a tongue-twisting flow and the ability to put together some of the most intricate rhymes ever, M has shown time and time again why he's the greatest of all time, skill-wise. But even though he perfected his rhyming ability, M went beyond that, separating himself from rappers like Cannabis and Ras Kass, and honed his songwriting craft. The best rapper from the Wu-Tang Clan, a top 5 hip-hop storyteller, the most consistent, hardest working artist. What other titles can you give Ghost while we're at it? Best rapping style, greatest at rapping over soul samples. While Ghost has decades worth of classics in his catalog, Mighty Healthy is his perfect song. Producer Alla Mathematics strips away everything. Rakim elevated rap from simple rhyme patterns into an intricate art form. The God MC approached the art of rapping like a jazz musician, effortless, smooth, and with no boundaries. There have been so many things written about Ra that anything I write now would be superfluous. The bottom line is, Rakim is the most influential hip-hop artist of all time, and one of the greatest rappers to ever touch a mic. Rap fans have really short memories, or they don't know their history. They see Ice Cube these days, and they see a Hollywood actor who occasionally raps. But in the early 90s, there were a few back-to-back years where Cube was absolutely the best rapper alive. He was the main lyrical force behind the groundbreaking Straight Outta Compton, and went on to drop 2 of the greatest rap albums of all time. Even before he was destroying guest verses, Stax alongside Big Boy started the Southern hip-hop takeover, as Outkast putting out 4 classics back-to-back. Hailing from a different planet altogether, 3000 is a space alien, consistently out there with his totally original rhymes, offbeat flow, spit-fire delivery, and always charming subject matter. He is considered by many to be one of the greatest rappers of all time. In just a few short years, the Notorious B.I.G. went from a Brooklyn street hustler to the savior of East Coast hip-hop, to a tragic victim of the culture of violence he depicted so realistically on his records. From rhyme schemes to breath control to flow, Biggie is the type of rapper we'd create in a lab. While dark and sometimes ornery when rapping, the Notorious One made images with his music and is the zenith of rap's golden era. There are a lot of hip-hop heads out there who get triggered when someone declares Tupac is the greatest rapper of all time. He didn't have jaw-dropping punchlines like Big L. He couldn't spin up masterful stories like Nas. He didn't have Biggie's flow or Jay-Z's knack for incredible double entendre. No, he did not. But Pac could do better than any other rapper in history, was completely pour his heart out when he's rapping. From hell-raising social activism to thug life, reflective nihilist to West Coast gangster, Nas has all of the skills of anyone else on this list, but likes to be less strict with the rules of technical rhyming. This looseness allows him to have far more involved lyrical content. He bridges the gap between annoying and preachy and casual, where you actually learn things by listening. Nas is one of those examples of someone who has just enough skills from all the various types that come together, but never get in the way of the lyrics. He's in all of the top lists, partially by learning from Cool G Rap, and growing from that foundation. Like Nas, Jay-Z is a rapper who's extremely capable of being overly complex, but chooses to be more loose with his style. This gives him more room to hone and share his message, which is his true strength. When you listen to Jay-Z, you hear a guy who's experienced in life, and has a lot of mature things. He's in the Songwriters Hall of Fame, has 22 Grammy Awards, and has sold over 50 million albums and 75 million singles. You've heard of Jay-Z and heard his music. What more is there to say? Thank you so much for watching the entire countdown. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Peace.